Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Blue Blanc Rouge. It's the Wednesday night show. We talk about rumors, Habs rumors. We want to talk about PLD, any other rumors that are out there, and any off season speculation. That's the best word. So if you guys want to talk about that, please talk to me in the chat, and let's see who's here because that's what we got tonight. Hey, Guru, how's it going? He says, go Bolts, go. By the way, if you're not sure, that game's tomorrow. Hey, Phil, how's it going? Filibuster. Go Bolts, indeed. Predict Leafs lose in 7 in some kind of super OT. It will be glorious. I mean, if it happens, if that happens, that's going to be great. I don't know. I'm really not confident that they're going to lose. Where's Edmondson going? When? And same for Anderson. Hey, Matt Outdoor. How's it going? Let's see now. Edmondson, I don't think you can predict where he's going to go. Honestly, I don't think you can. And also, I think it might be a little difficult to move him, though. So we'll see how that goes for Hughes. And I think, if Hughes is a real shark, he'll be able to move him. But where he's going, very hard to predict, I think. I don't think there's a ton of interest in him. And from what I understand, for Mike Hoffman, zero trade interest for Mike Hoffman. But maybe I should. I'm going to load this up. It's very okay. I have some. Anyway, we'll get to it. Hang on. As for Anderson, I really don't think Anderson's going to go anywhere. He might be a pretty good trade chip for Montreal, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I hope they hang on to him. Hey, Slinksy, how you doing, man? How the hell did the Leafs win Game 4? I wish I was just pissed off. I don't know. Okay. Well, I shouldn't say I totally don't know. I was reading an article today. Where was it? Apparently, they figured something out on Vazzy, the Leafs, and that is shooting high, especially from far, as you probably noticed, right in this series. He's been getting a lot of shots from like the point, and they've been going in. And apparently, the Leafs have figured something out with him. I was reading an article, and that's what they're doing. And I just hope that Vasilevsky can adjust to that. But I mean, that's what they're doing, I guess. And listen, the acquisitions that they did make at the trade deadline, when it happened, I said I'm worried because those are the kind of guys that have the grit and sandpaper and can win in the playoffs. They know how and all that. It was worrisome. And look at the performance so far of Ryan O'Reilly, right? So, hey Bruce, how you doing? So what was I gonna do? I was going to get something. Yes, I gotta go get something to put up here. Give me a sec. I gotta remember where it is though. In here. Yeah, okay, we'll get to that. Let me see. Get back to comments. Vasilevsky has diarrhea. It's cool he took his Imodium. No, seriously, he's weak on those. And I only read this thing today, right? But I noticed that they're scoring a lot like that. And so it must be something, I don't know, going on. Bruce says he feels I'm exactly right about the gritty guys. I mean, it's so far showing. I'll just put it this way though. I don't think the Leafs are beyond. I don't want to put this. I think there's still a possibility that it breaks down. So, if they don't win this series tomorrow night, it starts that process that Montreal went through with them, right? They were down 3-1 and they came back one game at a time. And it was the same thing. If you look at it, if you remember, Montreal won the first game, then lost the next 3 and then came back. So we'll see. Obviously, if the Lightning don't win the next game, that series is over. So I just hope it's not over. Yeah, Slinksy, though, by the time Montreal is really contending, I mean, Vazzy's going to be starting to get old, I guess. I don't know. Is it good if teams figure him out? I mean, yeah, but, great players get better, still get better, even, a guy like Vazzy, after he's been around for a while, he'll work on this in the offseason. Probably already started working on this, and he'll fix it or he won't. But, more than likely he'll fix it. Any more news on PLB? I don't know who PLB is, but a PLD. uh, yeah, we could talk about it a little bit. I don't want to give too much away because tomorrow I'll be filming a video on that topic. Basically, like what my take on the whole situation, and I might surprise you. My takes changed a little bit in doing research and stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to do a video on that, but we can talk about it a little bit. But is there any more news? No, there's no more news because first of all, he's still playing. So there's. I don't expect like if I would say the earliest that could happen would be after the lottery, the draft lottery, and more than likely, if they're going to do this trade this season, it'll be probably at the draft. I would think. And one reason I say that is if they trade for him prior to the July 1st, right? So if they get before the free agency period. That means they'd have PLD on their roster before his contract runs out. If they're planning to sign him, which I mean, if they're trading for him, they're planning to sign him, they'll be able to sign him for 8 seasons and not just 7. Crosby used to be absolute garbage at faceoffs. I don't remember that, to be honest with you, but I wasn't back then. I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to that. And why is that coming up, though, the faceoffs? I'm not sure why that's coming up. Oh, you mean that he fixed it, right? Of course. Right, exactly. Nick Suzuki, the biggest knock on Nick Suzuki, his skating. Remember the last game or second to last game against the Islanders, and he had to catch up to somebody. Guy was a good 10 to 15 feet ahead of him, and in 2-3 strides, Suzuki caught up to him. He fixed his skating. Yeah. Great players can still get better, especially young guys. And Dubois only 24. Oh, we're not talking about Dubois here. Vazzy, I don't know how old Vazzy is. Honestly, I don't. But look at Josh Anderson, who you could clearly see this season is still getting better at 28, under the right coaching. So good players find a way to get better. And they're not only are they find a way, they're driven to get better, right? They want to get better as all the time. You could always get better. Ray, stop that. My God, my dog scares the shit out of me like 10 times a day like that. She didn't scare me this time, but no barking, Ray. Jeez. Hey, Zachary, how you doing? I'm doing good. How you doing? I hope I don't offend you by any chance in any of the Leafs takes I might have tonight. So I'm apologizing in advance. Yeah, so we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We can talk about some speculation for the offseason. We could talk about Pierre-Luc Dubois a little bit. But you're going to have to give me some specific questions because, like I said, I'm doing a video. I don't want to give it away if I don't have to. I would want you guys to see the video. But if you ask me specific questions and stuff, I'll answer what I can. And a lot of the video is my take on things. So I hope I got the right. Well, I know I got some good info. Okay, now here's something I wanted to bring up since we have nothing. I do have one thing. Slinksy, it's funny you said that. He says Hot Take Hockey had the best Game 4 reaction. So John put out a video about that reaction. And I'm sorry. I like John. I think he's a little pissed at me these days. But what I sent back, like I retweeted his tweet about it, where he was just going nuts. So, and I said, I forget exactly, but it I forget exactly what I said, but I referred to the 3-1 situation for ours because he said it was 4-1. I said not the same as our. It was 3-1, and maybe you guys should. I think this is what I said. Maybe you guys should like tone it down a bit, something like that, until you win the series. I swear. Listen, he reacted like they won the Stanley Cup. I'm sorry, but it's just one game in the first round. Like really? Talk overreaction or what? Anyway, that's my opinion. What would Monahan cost to resign? I don't really know, but I'll say this though: you don't want to pay too much, right? If you're going to resign Monahan, and I'll say I've changed in that. Yeah, I think it's a possibility Montreal might resign him, but it'll be like low money, not over 2 million. I would think 2 million or less, and very short term. I would think very short term, but probably just the one season and get him going, and then do it trade deadline and be able to move him at the trade deadline that they weren't able to do this year. I could see that happening. The cost, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to be in the area of 2 million. I doubt it's the league minimum, but Tampa doesn't want to be the team that the Leafs beat in the first round in 20 years. I like that. Leafs tradition. But Guru, like honestly, if they don't have what it takes to beat them, they don't have what it takes to beat them, and the Leafs are going to win. And listen, eventually the Leafs are going to win a cup, even not in our lifetime, but eventually the Leafs are going to win a cup. In the next 50 to 100 years. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what they really have to say about it, right? They're trying. I don't think they're not trying, but I don't know if they have enough. Bobcat in the house. Bob, it feels like it's been a long time since I ran that. Welcome in, man. Daryl Adams. Hey, Daryl. Rick, keep hearing on site they think Dubois going to Habs in the summer. You think they should wait until he walks from the Jets? Yeah, well, I have been. I've said this before. Yeah, I think you should wait till he goes to free agency. And see, at the time I said that, I said no, they've got to trade for him. They don't. He had already signed a 1-year deal last season with the Jets. He's got one more year as a RFA. I would think he's going to sign a 1, maybe 2-year deal, and then they're going to trade him at the deadline before he walks into free agency. But maybe the Habs will pick him up then. I don't know. Hey, Luca, how you doing, man? Will Smith, 15 points in 4 games at U18s. If he goes fourth and we pick fifth, do we go Michkov? I'm not changing on that. No. Will they do it? I don't 100% know. I say no. But I do agree with you on the fact that it is really looking like Will Smith, even at fifth, we're not going to be able to get him. Unless one of those top teams takes a defenseman. And, this is a possibility, right? Not everybody goes by, after 2 or even after the top 3, not everybody goes as according to script. So, but I kind of think Will Smith might not be there for us if we don't move up. So we need to move up into first, second, or third. And you're going to say, how do we move into third? Someone actually posted that on Twitter, I'd say last week. And I said, well, how do they get to third? And he explained it actually. And it's true. If someone from behind the pack of 11, if they get, like say 12th or 13th place, gets first or second pick, they move up. It happens in a way, right? They move up. I forget how the guy explained it, but there's a way that it's a small percentage, but there's a way they can get third. So they're going to need to do that if they're going to want to get one of those guys. Which goalie should the Habs kick the tires on this summer? I don't know who's available off the top of my head, Renault. Sorry. I'm not convinced that they're going to do that unless they feel they need the money, like they don't want to spend the $4 million on Allen, and they feel they should move him and bring in someone cheaper. Maybe, but I don't know. I still think it's going to be Allen and Monty here. Welcome, Bob. No problem, man. Should the Habs get an offensive defender? If you're talking about for next year, unless he's a young guy that they can get in a deal, not happening. Hughes has already said they're not signing 27, 28, 29-year-old players. This year for the future, I guess, or they're not doing that. They're not going to. I don't expect that to happen. Same with the goalie. So now you got Mayu. Coming up, you've got Lane Hudson coming up. I don't know that they have to go and get an offensive defender because you've got guys here already, and by the time they're going to be contenders in 2-3 years, or into the playoffs, these guys are going to be here, and I don't think they're going to need to, and going out and signing a guy to be an offensive defender for what purpose right now, unless, as they're starting to say, that they're not starting next season thinking that they're not making the playoffs. This is a bit of a change. They're going into next season with the thought that they potentially could make the playoffs if things roll the right way. So that's a difference, by the way, that I should have talked about before, but I don't know why I haven't talked about it before. Offensive defensemen, we have Mayu, Lane Hudson, Billy Matheson. Yeah, well, Matheson's not going anywhere. And but you're 100% right. So I think for offensive defensemen, when you're looking at 2-3 years down the road, when we're going to be a team in the playoffs, we're going to have those guys here. Caden Gooley, the other 11-team left-handed D waiting in the wings. Good point, though, Phil. The left side, someone's going to have to move, right? So you have to figure any kind of moves they make in the offseason. I got to think one of those guys on the left side's going to move. Who it is, I don't know. Not going to be Matheson, not going to be Gooley. And not going to be Arbor. Lucas says 0.3 chance of picking third. Oh, you know how it's done? Okay, need Ottawa to win lottery. Then we win second lottery. Wait, Anaheim picks first, Ottawa second, we pick third. That's how it works. Right, someone jumps into second, and then Montreal gets that second lottery, and they wait a second. Let me figure this out. My brain's not wrapping around it. Ottawa wins. They come in to first, knocks the other two teams backward. But then if Montreal wins the second lottery, they're going to have the second pick. How does that not work? I don't know. I'm dumb tonight. That's just all it is. Renault says move Edmondson. I believe that if they can, they will. I don't really expect Edmondson to be a member of the Montreal Canadiens at the start of next season. Okay, and then another guy that I was talking about, Mike Hoffman, right? I kind of don't think they're going to be able to move Hoffman. I also think there's a good possibility Hoffman's not here next season. Why do I say that? And this is the reason why. I believe these numbers are from a good source. These are Hoffman's buyout numbers if the Habs decided to buy him out. If they bought him out this season, the cap hit would be $1.166 million and change, and next season this year would be 1.166, and next season 1.66. That's a pretty good savings. Takes some money off the cap this year. The downfall it adds a little to the cap the following season. I don't know. I think if they really feel they need him off the team, because there's guys they want to have on there ahead of him, they might buy him out. That's the buyout numbers on Hoffman. I didn't think that was that easy. I thought that would be worse in the first season. It's not. I think they might do it. All right. What else I got here? Ottawa only moves up 2. What are you talking about? Moves up to 2. Are they in 11th? Because if they're 11th from the bottom, sorry, if you count it off from 11, you count up 10 spots. Doesn't that bring them to first? As far as I know, right? It's not who picks at 0, right? So at 11, take 10 off of 11, means 1, right? That means that's first. Oh, they're in the 12th spot. Okay. I wasn't sure who's there. But yeah, 12th spot can only move up to second. Yes. Renegade Man, I agree with you 100%. I don't think they're moving Harris. And I don't think they're moving Barron. I just think there's somebody on the left that's, got to kind of move. And Harris plays both sides. So Harris can play the other side. It's not a problem. Renault, if that's the real numbers, then that's a good buyout for them. It'll work. Gallagher won't work. Too many seasons left on his contract, and the numbers are much higher, so wouldn't work. Besides, what he's got 4 seasons left. If you buy out Gallagher, you're paying him for 8 seasons. Hell, this season coming up is the last season for Alzner. We're still paying Carl Alzner 1 more year. Renegade Man also says, I just think PLD is nothing more of a rumor. Plus, the Habs are a rebuilding team. He would want out if he came to Montreal if it takes 3 years to make the playoffs. Yeah, I don't think when that rumor or whatever Elliot Friedman said about the 95%, I don't think it's about this season coming up. It kind of makes no sense for Montreal to get Dubois. The thing that makes the most sense is let him sign short term, whatever he's going to sign with Winnipeg. And then, you either trade for him at the deadline that year when they're ready to move him, or you let him go wherever he's going to go and you get him in free agency. I don't think the chance of Dubois being here for next season, I think is pretty low personally. Like, I don't think it's going to happen at the draft or anything. And also, Renegade Man, it is a rumor, and it, of course, till it happens, or if it happens, there's nothing more of a rumor till then. But it's starting to make more sense to me that where there's smoke, there's fire. That type of thing is making a lot more sense to me. That this is probably going to happen in one way or the other, and I think more than likely it's going to happen by free agency. But it's starting to look like Dubois is probably going to be a member of the Habs. My personal 2 years, not this season coming, probably not maybe the one after that, probably the one after that, and that's right in line with when the Habs are going to start making the playoffs, and that makes the most sense to me. It just requires a little patience, and if Dubois, true to his word, really wants to come to Montreal, he's going to make it that he will come to Montreal. Because if I'm correct, he's an RFA for Winnipeg. He made $6 million last year. They have to qualify him, at the very least, qualify him at 6. So that's the least he's going to make for 1 more season. And he's a free agent. If he wants to do it, he'll do it. Renegade Man, I kind of agree with that. I do. I don't think he's going to make if he's going to be in the top 10, I think Michkov is probably going to be 8, 9, or 10. I really don't think he's going to go in the top with the top picks. That's my opinion. See if I'm right when it comes to it. Lucas says Friedman quotes 95% chance by start of 24-25 season for Dubois. Well, I'll say this, he's got to be signed to a contract in the offseason, right? He's an RFA. They just have to qualify. It'll depend what you see him get. If he gets qualified for 1 year, that's what he's got, and he's got a 1-year contract. We're getting it. He's probably going to be on our team the year after because he'll be a free agent. If he signs a 2-year deal, it'll be after that. It depends what he signs, but I'm starting to think that it's a legitimate. It looks like it's a legitimate thing that's going to happen in the future. Bob says, I think PLD will be traded by the Jets either at the draft this summer, but more likely at the trade deadline next season. If the Habs do trade for him, they will certainly offer him 5 to 7 year deal. Yeah, I do think the same kind of thing. I personally think the Jets are going to sign him 1 or 2 years, whatever they can work out with him. And before that contract is up at that trade deadline, they're going to move him. And if you look at look at this year, look what Tampa gave up for a guy like Jeannot. Now, I'm not saying they're going to get, but there's a good chance Jets can really get a good haul, and they don't care after that, right? So some contending team will trade for him. Which prospects do you think the Habs will make the Habs next year? I doubt it would be any of the 2023 picks unless they got Bedard Fantilli. Yeah, I would think if it's one of if they get a top 2 pick, right? If they get one of the top 2, that guy will probably be on the team. Okay, I've gone through this before. Let me see if I remember. I do think Joshua Raw, really good chance if they haven't moved him. Possibly Owen Beck, because Owen Beck was really close this training camp. Yeah, it's possible. Sean Farrell is possible. I know I'm missing out on somebody's name that I had before. I can't think of it. You're going to ask me Logan Mailloux. I don't think Logan Mailloux. AHL, that, yeah, I could see. Not in the NHL. We might see him a game or two next season at the end of the year, but I don't think they got to get clearance first anyway. Hey, Lucas. Bruce, you're in danger of being banished by this channel for even putting that there. Bruce says, do you feel we could try to sign Austin Matthews next? Hang on, I'm going to have to puke. I'm very nauseous. Try this again. Do you feel we could try to sign Austin Matthews next season? Hang on, I'm having trouble getting through this. When he becomes a UFA. No. In no uncertain terms is Austin Matthews ever coming here to Montreal. No. If Jeannot gets that haul, should Anderson, Edmondson, and Allen be worth something given they are playing well? Well, they're worth something. But listen, the Lightning overpaid for Jeannot, so I don't really expect that, Heineman, that's the guy, Luca. You're right. Heineman. Farrell, I'm not 100% sure. I think he could start at the AHL level. I think Heineman had a great camp last year, and he's played well with the Rocket this year at the end there. And Heineman was that other name. Renegade asks, opinions on Slavkovsky's performance so far. Do you see him playing for the Rockets next year? I actually do, and I'm not even, I think it might be best for him. Till he can establish a physical game, I think he might need to be in the AHL for a little while. Is Cole getting an A on his jersey next season? No. Oh, well, I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, Edmondson will be gone. Galley will probably keep his A. So I don't know. I think Anderson's still here. He keeps the A. Bruce, you don't have to be sorry. But no, there's no way Austin Matthews and Aho, forget about it. They already tried that. After him not admitting basically that he used Montreal to get the contract he wanted, he's not coming here. Bob, exactly. That's what I was doing, the Fonz. Yeah, it's hard to say that. Austin Matthews a Hab. I want to puke. I'm sorry. I do. Hey, Quinn, how you doing, man? What was up with the dirty poem uploaded? What do you mean dirty? It wasn't that dirty? It's art, like Phil says. I mean, it's not a dirty poem. There are a couple of dirty. I mean, I tried to do it in a nice way. If Montreal Canadiens sign Austin Matthews to a contract, I am done. Honestly, I don't know that I can watch them anymore. So I hope they don't freaking do that. And I think Renegade Man's got a good point. He'll never play for another Canadian team. He's going to go to a big market American city. But do the Leafs finally pass the first round or choke? I'm hoping choke. I'm worried they're going to pass the first round here. And then I'm worried about the second round, and here's why. Boston pretty much obviously gonna be in the second round, right? If the Leafs advance, they're gonna play Boston. So the last 7 President Trophy winners, 1 got knocked out in the first round, and 6 got knocked out in the second round. I'm worried. It doesn't mean Boston's going to happen to them, but man, wouldn't that be the worst season? They make it past the first round and then beat Boston, another thing for them, and make it into the conference final. I don't know. The Leafs and Habs don't do superstar signings. You know, it's a bit of a the Leafs, I don't know about that, but for the Habs, I kind of doubt it too. Because if you want to say they signed Dubois, it's not a superstar signing. Will Raphael Harvey Pinard play in the top or bottom 6 next year? Good question. I think that's actually a very good question. But I'll just say this, and it's not to sort of avoid answering properly. I think he's a guy that can play anywhere in the lineup. So I think he'll play both. Depending on injuries and all that kind of stuff. I think in general he's a third line guy who can play anywhere in the lineup and will do so depending on matchups and injuries. That's all I'll say. Matthews can go to Chicago. They have cap space clearing up now. I'm going to say I don't think Chicago's a big enough market. I know that might sound weird. It's not a big. I'm talking L.A., New York. I'm talking a market like that, and I don't know how many there are of those, but I don't see Chicago being that, and I don't think he wants to go to a team that's on the rebuild either. Or I don't think he's going to want to go to a team. If he's smart, he doesn't go to a team where he's the guy because he doesn't make the guy. I don't think he's the guy. He's got to be maybe 1B, but not 1A. And I know I'm not talking about goalies. Bob says, just for fun, all things being equal, Matthews could or would easily score 35 to 45 goals in his first season in Montreal, no question. If he did that in a Habs sweater, I'm pretty sure you'd love him. No, Bob, there's not a goddamn thing in the world that will make me like Austin Matthews. That's all. I'm not going to be. No, no, don't want that guy on my team. Don't want him anywhere near a Habs sweater as far as putting it on. You might say it's sensible what he's, but I don't. Not for me, it isn't. I'm not saying I totally disagree with the sentiment of it, but it's Austin Matthews, and I'm not going to make an exception here. For me. Hey, BL, how you doing, man? Leafs gave John Tavares 7 years and 11 million at the time. That was a superstar signing. Yeah, I don't. But what's your point? But Luca, I mean, you think really Arizona? I mean, I thought maybe at the time to that small arena, and it's a small market. I don't think so. Unless, listen, unless he just wants the adulation that he might get from going there. He's probably shallow enough for that. Bob, though, putting Price's salary there, yes and no. I mean, they just put it on LTIR and they get the relief, so it's not a problem as far as that, as no implications in signing people. They're not going to sign big ticket guys until they're ready. Why pay a big ticket guy for 2 years? You're not going to be competitive enough. Bob, no, you don't know me well enough to say that. So no, Austin Matthews. The reason I don't like him is not necessarily his on ice stuff; it's off ice. And I also won't love a guy that likes to start shit and then go around collecting sticks while his buddies have to face the implications of what he did. I don't like that at all. So no. Do I miss Dano's have? I kind of do. I mean, there's parts of Phil Dano's game that are valuable, really valuable. Your point is that someone said the Habs don't sign superstar free agents. Let me see who you called this. I don't even remember. Where was it? Oh, there. No, 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 no. Oh, you're saying about the Leafs? I just said about Montreal. I did say that the Leafs. I said I don't know about the Leafs, but Montreal doesn't usually do that. Listen, you think you're spelling it out for me, but you're not. You're not going to change my mind, man. You're not. Hey, Stan, how you doing, man? To the Kings. That's one. I think that's one of the options. It's going to be a big market club. I'm not going to laugh at that. Kings for sure. Rangers, Devils, or whatever. A big market club. I don't even know if the Devils are big enough market. Laugh it up, fuzzballs. The only way I see Matthews going home is if they get Bedard and when the arena is ready, plus he wants McDavid money. Yeah, I mean, I could maybe that. Just don't see it in that small arena. They're too small a market for him. Slinksy, yeah. I mean, if you want to call that a fight, and what I mean by that really is, Matthews fought about the way I thought he'd fight, which wasn't very good. And whatever you want to say about it, no. If I were him, I'd be embarrassed. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point, right? I agree with you. I don't think at least 2 years. It might be longer, but at least 2 years. They don't really need to look at the big ticket guys. And in the time being, they might be developing their own big ticket guys already, right? McKinnon makes more than McDavid. What does McKinnon make? I don't even know. I thought McKinnon took a little less so you could have a team around him. Yeah, I don't have two first names. Yeah, Phil. I believe Sidney Crosby when he says he doesn't want to play for another team unless they trade him away. I don't think he's going to do that. Wait until McDavid's contract is up. Both Matthews and McDavid ask for $15 million. You know, and speaking of this stuff about money and contracts, apparently Cole Caulfield has kind of put it out there that he's not willing to take less money than like taking a home discount kind of thing. He wants to be paid. I think this is what's holding up the contract. He said doesn't want to leave money on the table. Basically, I think I might be paraphrasing a little bit, but he said he doesn't want to leave money on the table. I think Caulfield's asking for 9-10 million, probably 10. It's not a soft argument, my friend. It's not. I agree with you. I don't really want a guy like that fighting either. But I also don't want that guy starting shit and making other guys have to fight for him while he's standing around looking like a pussy. I don't want a guy like that either. Sorry. So if he's not going to fight, then he shouldn't start shit. Yeah, Renegade Man, I think he's going to stay with the one team. McDavid makes 12.5 and McKinnon 12.75. I didn't know McKinnon made that much. Yeah, Matthews, I believe, is looking for big money. He probably wants to be the highest paid player in the league. Hey, Sonny, how you doing, man? I'm doing good. That jumped. Stan asked to change the AM34 talk. Do you think the Jets will ask for Florida's first pick, Machar, and Devo for PLD? I don't know what the details are going to be, but it's going to be a first or a second. They're going to want to, I think they're going to want a roster player and not just like, I don't think Devo's enough on that front. But if it is Devo, now you're looking at a prospect as well for sure. And it might even be 2 picks in there. Like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the cost is going to be, but I dare say it's not going to be cheap to trade for PLD. PL, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm saying I think he's probably asking for 10. I don't think he's going to get 10, but I think he could get 9. I think he could get 9. But I'll tell you what, I kind of do agree with that. But I mean, if it's contract time and he's able to have a kind of season next year that would demand that kind of money, but you got to sign him now. He's probably saying, listen, yeah, I got to bet on myself a little bit. So, yeah, personally, I don't see Caulfield's contract now. At this point, I'm going to say I don't see it being less than probably 8.5. And you're probably looking at 9.5. That But if I say, like, I think he's asking for 10, well, that's a negotiation thing, right? You start there, you work your way down a little bit. Nope. I don't care. You could talk here all night and try to convince me that I would accept Austin Matthews, and I will not. Slinksy, the Leafs are not going to be able to pay all the three guys plus Nylander. They're not going to be able to pay them all that kind of money. I don't, unless the cap goes up like ridiculously in the next 2 seasons, which it's not. I don't see how they're going to do it. Luca, no, but I'm saying I think that this is what the holdup is money. Apparently, he's not going to take less than he should get. Not going to take less for the team. And like I said, also I don't know what the negotiations are. This is my thought. That's all. I would give either Norlinder or Beck in that package for PLD. Problem is, how are you going to afford Caulfield, Suzuki, and PLD? Actually, the money would be there. And in that case, that's another reason that they would buy out Hoffman, right? If you buy out Hoffman, you're saving $3 million. That helps. So, yeah, I can see it happening. Norlinder or Beck, yeah, I wouldn't want to really give up Beck, but he's not an untouchable. But that's if that Winnipeg wants that, right? I don't know. Is Winnipeg rebuilding? Are they not? Like, we don't know. BL, I don't totally disagree with that. But you got to also think that if you sign him to a bridge deal, and in the 2 years or 3 years, whatever the term is going to be, he earns that money. It's going to be big money, bigger than now. So it's in the Habs' interest to sign him long term right now. Yeah, I just saw that BL Panthers up 2-1. A lot of hockey left. There's nothing to make of a 2-1 score. Stan the man, I'm not sure I like a bridge deal for Caulfield. I'm not really sure I like that. Unless it's necessary because of money and cap and like that kind of thing, I don't like it. I want him locked in for 8 years. But I see the value of it for him not to be locked in for 8 years right now. Okay, so it's the end of the second period. Anyway, it's only 2-1. I wouldn't. I mean, I want Boston to win this series. I wouldn't worry about the score right now. It could change in the third, but I guess I should say give a thumbs up if you're enjoying yourself tonight. And it's at the end of the month. I hate begging for money. I'm not going to beg for money. But if you're in the mood to give any money to the channel to support this month, I really need it. This is what's the prize for doing that. We're going to give away this cup or mug. It's a beauty. Unused. The packaging's inside. I don't drink coffee or tea anyway, so but there you go. So that's what I'm giving away. If anybody wants to donate to the channel, I would super appreciate that. And you get in the draw for that, which is actually going to come up. It's not going to be far down the road. Probably early May. I'm going to give away mid-May. Say I'm going to give away this cup. There you go. That's the extent of my begging for money. I hate doing that. But sometimes it's necessary. What can you do? But I mean, if you're not going to give money, but please give a thumbs up. Appreciate that as a minimum. Renegade man, I think you're right about you can't keep all these defensive prospects, but and yeah, I mean I mean you got to try though. Got to try as much as you can. But I think on the left side they're going to move somebody. Just don't know who. Do I feel comfortable that Caulfield will stay healthy? I mean, pretty much. Listen, you guys, I get the idea of the bridge deal, but if you remember, the last guy like that kind of potential, right, that we did that to was PK Subban. And what it ended up happening was cost the Habs tons of money to sign him to $9 million contract for 8 years. When they could have got him for 7 on an 8-year deal. I don't know. It's a bit of a difference, you know? That's all. Listen, there's good points for both, there's good points for both, but for me, I'd rather see him sign long term. Although not at 10 million. I really don't like seeing it. Like I really hope they can get him at like Robertson, that kind of numbers. That would be better. Obviously. But then again, right, you could say if he's betting on himself, you could get him at, long term at lower numbers with bonuses. If he hits them, he'll be worth it, right? Maybe they do that. And maybe that's what they're doing. And that's what's taking so long in the negotiations. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We can all we have is speculation of Caulfield till they freaking sign him, just to get us worried. Always something to worry about, right? Well, Stan, I kind of think if they're going to sign him to 7, they're going to sign him to the full 8 that they're allowed. Um, 8 times 8, I think everyone's accept. I mean, we were before when we talked about this before on my streams. 8 times 8, everybody seemed fine with. I don't know why that would change now and saying, well, we don't know if he's going to stay healthy because when we've talked about it before, we knew he was injured and that question of his health was out there. So I don't know why everyone's so keen on just a bridge contract now. I don't understand what's changed. For me, it hasn't. It's interesting with the options. Do they still do that though? Have a contract where you got the team option? I don't think they do that. Not since the collective bargaining agreement, the first one. I don't think they do that. They used to have that where you had team options or player options for, he'd be say like you said, like 4 years, and then 1, 2, or 3 years at team or player option. I haven't seen a contract like that in a long time, as far as I know. Anyways, listen. Now you're getting into too much detail. That you can't. It's hard to speculate when you want to get into that kind of detail. Anyway, but I don't think they do that team option shit anymore. And if so, someone tell me when the last time you heard that a player had a contract where there was team option to extend it. For me, I swear it's got to be 20 years since I think I've seen that. Yeah, I mean, you know what? You're kind of right. I mean, it's a little cavalier though to go um to say it's hockey, shit happens, right? Because it's important. You don't want him like to just go, okay, well, we'll pay him that, and yeah, we'll take a chance. It's not that easy, but you're kind of right, right? Players do get injured. You still have to sign them, and he's an important piece going forward. Well, Bob, I don't know if it's less than 10. How long have we had the CBA? I think it changed when they first collective bargaining agreement, or the of the more recent ones. I don't know. Two strikes ago. I don't know, but it's been more than 10 years. I'm pretty sure. But I think it coincides with that. But Bob, why is okay? Why are you labeling Caulfield injury prone now? How many injuries has he had? I don't think he's injury prone. I don't think it's fair to say that yet in his career. What did I think of the Makar hit and suspension? Okay, I'm not sure I saw it, but if it's what I'm thinking, I don't think that was a suspendable hit, right? It was interference, maybe. I don't think that was a suspendable hit if it's what I'm thinking that I saw. What do you think about it, BL? Or anybody else in the chat? What do you think about that? And I mean, is the refing like the most ridiculous refing you've ever seen in the history of the game, or what? I think if the refs were as bad as they are right now, when I was a kid, I don't think some of those refs would have gotten out of the rink. Renegade man, we cannot predict that, and I don't think Cole Caulfield, with one injury in his young career, can be called injury prone. When has he been injured all through his junior or whatever like up till he got here? When was he all injured all the time? So I don't think injury prone is fair at all. And to predict because of the one injury, to predict that his career is going to be full of injuries, don't think that's fair either. Well, in that case, you could say Slavkovsky's injury prone. Same thing. Missed a ton of games this year because of an injury. Although I don't know if his is pesky because I don't know what he had actually. So apparently, though, I think you're wrong. Anderson had the same thing, and his shoulder is stronger than ever. Doubt that it's going to be a pesky thing. Um, BL, like I said, don't know if I saw the hit properly or not, honestly. So I if it is what I saw, I don't know. Look, just like interference. The Habs should sign Bunting. Bunting is scratched for tomorrow night's game. Did you know that? which I thought, I was hoping they wouldn't scratch him, but hang on, since Matt's in here. No, I don't want to wear that. Okay, I'm just gonna do something so I don't get copyright. Hang on. I don't need to see that. That's fine for now. All right, I can turn the sound up and hear Matt. I think your sound is off, Matt. There you go.
I did. I accidentally hit the mute button on my mic.
Yep.
What's happening?
No, not much. You?
Not much. So Bunting scratched?
Yeah, Bunting is scratched for Game 5. You know what? And I was thinking about this in the last game, that when he comes back, they're winning without him. They lost in the game he played. He did a stupid thing, and they're winning without him. I wouldn't put him in there, but I was hoping they would. But no, he's scratched. So it's a smart move by them, I guess, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it still isn't over till that buzzer sounds, though.
No, but I mean, listen, tomorrow night's game is could be the series could be over, and and they've broken their drought of first round anyway. And then as you missed this, but last 7 President's Trophy winners, of the last 7, 1 got knocked out in the first round, the other 6 got knocked out in the second round. It's worrisome, right?
That I really don't want Toronto to advance.
Yeah, I really don't. Me either, but it's worrisome.
I really don't.
If they get past the Lightning, there's a good chance that they actually beat the Bruins.
I doubt it. The Bruins will beat the brakes off of them. They have to put Bunting back in, and Bunting will do something dumb.
It depends. Is there really a jinx or not, right? If there is, I'm worried. Okay, let's get back to here. Oh, this was what we were talking about too. Did you see the Makar hit on McCann?
Yeah, I did. I think that shouldn't have been downgraded from a major. I don't think it should have.
Wait, no, say it again. Dirty or clean?
I thought it was dirty. The initial hit was fine, but then he followed through with the elbow to the head.
Oh, maybe I missed that though. I might have missed that.
The initial hit, he got him in the chest, and then when he was going into the glass, his elbow came up and he went like that.
That could be. So that must be the part I didn't see. But to me, it looked like interference. That's it, basically, right? But no, if you hit him with an elbow like that, no, then that's
he
dirty.
did. The follow through got him in the head.
Okay, then
smushed his head against the glass.
But the thing is, here, he got a 1-game suspension. Was what he did worse than Bunting or not?
No. Well, probably on par. I mean, it's still a hit to the head, but
so why
then you
get a So why
reputation? I mean, reputation. Michael.
No, okay, but it's still,
you know what I mean?
Not right. This is not a right way of dealing out penalties or
no, I mean, I agree, but I mean, Michael Bunting wasn't ever going to get a game. He was going to get more than a game. That's just because of his reputation.
I thought
all he does is mouth off to the
should have been just 1. So Makar gets just 1. I was right when we talked about it. I said, I think it was after the game. I said to you, I think just 1.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if you're going to give Makar just 1, then Bunting should have got just 1. As much as I don't like that, Bunting should have got just 1. But the officiating and punishment, the adopts, they're horrible. Stan says, how's this for a contract for Caulfield? No, you're breaking it up by year. It doesn't matter because it's the average that's the cap hit. So that kind of stuff doesn't matter. How much money he actually gets each year in salary doesn't matter. It's what the average is. So if you can't bring the average down, it doesn't really matter. Salary cap should go up, in a couple of years by a good number. Yeah, you're right. But again, it doesn't change anything because it's still the cap hit. It's going to be the cap hit. Mike says he agrees Matthews can stay in Toronto. We didn't actually say that. I don't think Matthews stays in Toronto. He's going somewhere else.
Especially if they somehow find a way to blow another 3-goal lead.
Especially, right? I think that's
if they do, to be a fly in the dressing room at the end of Game 7.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, if they lose this series now, I mean, like, yeah, he's not coming back. That's cements that he's not coming back, in my opinion.
Mm.
Bruins have their hands full Florida tonight. Yeah, but I mean, it's playoff hockey. You didn't really you should never expect like kind of a blowout series win necessarily, right?
Right. Same thing with Toronto tomorrow night. Like, I expect Tampa to come out firing. I expect Tampa to be physical. Again, even though the Tampa's down 3-1, they made 3 straight Cup finals. I can't count them out until that buzzer sounds. You know what I mean?
See, when the thing is, I don't feel Tampa's offense like this. I don't think there's any. I don't feel there's a big problem there. I'm worried about Vasilevsky.
Yeah, he's looked a little off. He's definitely looked a little off.
I read on Twitter someone put out their opinion, and I agree with it. I'd be more comfortable if Monty was in nets. Like, if it were us, and I'd feel more comfortable right now having Monty. I don't see Monty making those mistakes on the long shots. Like, I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And Vazzy is not very good right now.
Right. But, I mean, it's also going to be Vazzy in an elimination game, so. I mean, he could
get it, but okay. But then there was, like, after a bad loss, he always bounces back. He didn't. Twice. He didn't. Overtime loss, he bounces back. He didn't. So to say there's nothing that gives me confidence, really, that whatever he's going to, because he did it before, he's going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. I see a team that has played a lot of hockey in the last 4 years, and it's.
I mean, they have. They're definitely tired. I think they're definitely breaking down. But yeah,
I think it's showing.
I mean, again, I still wouldn't count them out.
Also, a team for the first time, probably in 4 years, where they didn't make those right moves. The moves they made, they weren't the right ones. That's what I think.
I mean, besides trading like 8 picks for Tanner Jeannot, I mean, what other? I'm just trying to think of other moves that they might have made.
I don't know, but the Tanner Jeannot one sticks out. That wasn't the right move.
There's a shitload of draft picks too. Like a lot of draft picks. What was it, like 5 or 6?
Yeah, which hurts them down the road, and they're not getting that bang for the buck out of them. I don't find. Like when the year before, Brandon Hagel, it cost them a good. It was costly to get Brandon Hagel, but that guy delivered.
He did.
Absolutely. And everyone was saying they paid that for Brandon Hagel. That guy delivered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know. Lucas says bad take on Vazzy. I don't know. I'm worried about how he bounces back. He didn't bounce back from all the. He always bounces back after a bat. He didn't, though. I don't like the way he looks, and I'm not confident in that. Like I said, I feel more confident if Monty was in there. Well, BL, I think this season Monty had a better goals, saves above expected numbers than Vazzy. There's one thing. So I don't say he can't ever carry his gear. I don't think that's true. And because he was great in the past, well, he's not great this year. He's showing he's not. So
his regular season.
I don't know. I'm not putting it across well, but still.
Well, no, I mean, I get what you're saying, and we're not saying that Monty's a better goalie than Vasilevsky. I mean,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I have confidence right now in it.
But right, yeah, and I even think in the regular season, I think Vasilevsky's numbers weren't where they should have been.
He struggled at least. I know, like the beginning of the season, he struggled. And I think he struggled at times during the season too. So I don't think it was a great season for him.
Mm.
Do I think the Habs will try to get Lafreniere or Kako instead of PLD? Kind of don't think either. What do you think?
If I had to pick one, probably Kako, because I think Gorton wanted him. Well, so there's that connection there, but
I don't think so, and I don't think
PLD I don't think so either.
I don't think PLD this year either, but I will give more in depth on my thoughts on PLD. I'm doing a video about them tomorrow. So
cool.
We'll see. The Leafs 2 overtime winners shot from the point. Yep. I want to say at least
I think the last one though, the other night was deflected, so I mean you can't really blame Vasilevsky on it.
I want to say I saw probably at least 6 or 7 goals come in like that from the distance and high. And that's apparently I read an article, maybe not the greatest place, but I mean they're an okay place, and they're saying that the Leafs figured something out on Vazzy, and that's it. They shoot high from far, and he's letting them in, and you can't deny it. It's happening.
I mean, they're getting good screens on him. I will say though, what was it? Riley's goal that tied the game, I think. Yeah, Vazzy was screened, but when I watched the replay, he was like a foot out of position.
Yeah, well, here's what I'm remembering now what they said about him. So what it is he stands up and he's up and he's looking. It helps him to see in front of the traffic in front of him. What it doesn't do is when a shot comes in like that, he can't get. It takes him that extra split second to get set.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's throwing him off. That's what they said. I don't know the validity of all that personally, but that's apparently what's happening. At least according to this place. What was it? What place was it? Habs something. It was anyways, one of the sites I read every now and then. Where are we? Yeah, Luke, I think that's a little bit okay. This is what Luke is saying. Agree with BL Duff here. Do you want a hot goalie or a Hall of Fame goalie or a waiver wire pickup in a do or die game? Well, I want what? Who's to say Monty isn't going to become that goalie? He's young. He's just starting out. I don't know, but that's fair to say. I'm going by what I've seen this season. That's all. And Monty's numbers this season. Now, some of them haven't been great, but neither were Vazzy's great.
Again, we're not saying Monty's the better goalie, but I agree with Rick. We're just going off of what we've observed so far in the playoffs and what we've observed this season. That's all.
Then to say until Monty has won 2 Stanley Cups, Vazzy will be the better goalie. Not really true. If Vazzy starts to suck and Monty is playing out of his mind, then Monty's the better goalie. I don't care what someone's background is when you're judging it from today. It's what is he doing today? No? I mean, am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think you're totally wrong. But to BL and Bob and Luca's point, like obviously, and this is again why I can't count Tampa out. I mean, I still take into consideration the fact that he's been to 3 straight Cup finals, but I know, I mean, even from what I've seen in the series, he just looked a little off. I don't know what it is. But it's been those shots from the point for whatever reason.
Confident. He doesn't look confident out there. Whatever the reason, even if his numbers were better than I thought during the season, it doesn't change how he's playing right now. And do I lose confidence in my number one horse after 2 or 3 bad games? Maybe if I was a Lightning fan, I wouldn't. I'm looking at it from outside, and yeah, I want them to beat Toronto. I don't have confidence in Vazzy tomorrow. Now, I don't have confidence in Elliott either. They're backup, so
I'd rather have Vazzy than Brian Elliott. Holy crap!
Yeah, I'm not insane.
Without a doubt.
I'm not insane to say that, right? I'm not insane, but I don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to bring his A game.
I mean, I think, especially in the first, in the second and third game too, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that they didn't have Hedman or Cernak, right?
For one of those games, Hedman was there the last 2 games, though, hasn't he?
But again, like, not. And like I said, I do think Tampa's done kind of a bad job clearing screens out in front of the net. So,
yes.
Like I said, you can't. I'm not blaming Vazzy for everything. I'm not. There's just been deflections and stuff. He just can't. Nothing he could do about it. But
there's times like that, of course.
I said that. I didn't. I mean, obviously he was screened when Riley tied the game the other night, but he was at least a foot out of position. And I'm like, I get he couldn't see the puck, but he was in position where he thought the puck was on, like, it was on the other defenseman. Like, there was at least a foot of open net for Morgan Riley to shoot at. I'm like, I get your screen, but somebody say something, right? Like, somebody yell something at him, hey, move over a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Have him try to peek. Like, I don't know. He's looked a little off, but it's Vasilevsky,
He's off.
We'll see what happens.
I think he is a little off. I wanted to comment.
I mean, I hope he proves us wrong. I hope he comes out and plays like a friggin' brick wall the rest of the series. I do. Because we don't want to see Toronto move on. But this is just what I've seen. He just looks a little bit off.
He does. He looks a little bit off. Hang on. Something I wanted to. Are we not? We're not serious contenders right now, anyway. And I don't think you can say for sure that Monty in 3 years, when we are starting to be contenders, is not going to be that much better. Sorry, but everybody wrote this guy off completely after first game he played here, and he's made dramatic improvements in his game. And I think everybody writing him off, saying he's not even an NHL goalie, he's an AHL goalie. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Who, Montembeault?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, and when the grades video comes out, you'll see, my thoughts on him. But no, I thought he improved vastly this season. There are things in his game you could tell he worked on. So, and I think he should continue to get better. And I think he's proven people wrong, and I hope he continues to prove people wrong. I love the guy. I hope right. I think he's certainly part of the tandem moving forward, whether it's a 1A, 1C, whether whatever happens. I think he's here to stay in the long term.
See what happens with that. Monty has yet to step into a pressure cooker. That might be so, but doesn't mean he won't handle it well. And when he does step into the playoff pressure cooker, he's going to be 2-3 years more experienced. So we don't know how he's going to handle it. I like what I see from Monty.
BL is right. Boston just tied the game and then immediately took a penalty.
Bruins
tied it and then immediately took a penalty.
Oh, well, we can kill it off. Vasilevsky is still the best goalie in the NHL, says Renegade Man, he believes. I know Shesterkin not too far behind. It doesn't matter if he's the best goalie in the NHL right now. He's not playing right like it.
Draw too.
So it doesn't matter. Doesn't mean he can't come back. I'm not saying he can't. I don't have confidence in it right now. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, that the best goalie in the NHL this year, as much as it pains me to say this, it's been Linus Ullmark.
I think it has, right?
I'd even put Sorokin ahead of Vazzy this year. I think the both of them have been much better. I think Ullmark's a shoo-in for the Vezina, but Sorokin's been phenomenal too.
Yeah, Sorokin has been, and Ullmark has been also. Yeah, I agree.
But again, I'm not saying Vazzy's a bad goalie. I'd still put Vazzy in the top 5, maybe even top 3, right behind Sorokin. But again, he hasn't been the best goalie in the league this year, and he hasn't been the best goalie in the playoffs. Scored! And the Florida Panthers take the lead. Let's go.
That didn't take long.
No, it was hilarious. The Bruins literally Bergeron scored, and on the draw, after they got back to take the draw after the goal, Locko took a penalty for the Bruins, and the Panthers took the lead.
Yeah. Even if they lose, I guess the series not over yet.
No.
BL, again, you're wrong. Says, what's he doing today, Monty? Golfing, probably. No, he's not, actually. He's playing hockey. He's practicing for the World Championships. So he was chosen for the World Championships because he's a crappy goalie. That's why they chose him, right? Canada doesn't want to win. They chose Monty to be the goalie, so they'd lose. That's what it's about. So I'm being sarcastic. You realize that. Yeah, I mean, Bob, you're not making a case for Tampa to be able to come back. But you're right. They are they're dealing with some injuries, and they definitely having trouble staying in the ozone more than Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto's outplaying them. I see it, a team that has played a lot of hockey, and it's probably
it's certainly starting to show.
Getting to be the end of their run. I mean, that's what I see going on here, and that includes Vazzy. How far do you think Michkov, not spelled very well, will fall in the draft? The Habs will get a good player at 5 to 7 or higher. Maybe they can package the 17th pick to move up and nab Michkov as well. Yeah, I mean, kind of impossible to say how far he'll fall. I really think he'll fall past Montreal. My opinion.
He could.
Okay. You think Montreal will pick him? If they fall to him. I mean, to them. If he falls to them,
maybe. I don't know. I think it's.
I don't think so.
I think it's hard to tell. I mean, I think it's Will Smith if Will Smith falls to 5. But
yeah, but I'm not sure Will Smith is falling, and I don't know. But I doubt Montreal picks at 5. Right? I mean, more than likely, Montreal probably going to move back 1 or 2. Probably 1. Probably one of the teams that are ahead of him is going to get one of those lottery picks. Maybe both, but probably they move back to 6. Will Smith be there at 6? I really doubt it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, thing is, though, I could still see a world where Michkov maybe still goes in the top 3 or top 4. I mean, it just, we don't know what other. I mean, obviously, top 2 is Bedard and Fantilli, without no question. But
no,
I think after that, I think
I don't disagree.
There's a bunch of different ways it could go. I mean, to me, I think Carlson should be 3rd overall, but I could, depending on who's there, I could see it being Michkov. It all depends.
Yeah, depending on the team. I mean, I'll give you that. I still just think he's going to fall. That's my opinion. I'm not going to change that. Let me see now. Did I answer that? I guess I did. Hey, David, how you doing? By the way, just because David just got here, I'd say about another 6 minutes, so we're gonna take off. Bruins tied it, but then I'm that far behind.
I said that. It's 3-2 Florida. I told you the Bruins tied it and then took a penalty immediately.
I'm that far behind in the comments.
Oh, gotcha.
See, Bob makes sense to me. Absolutely believe Monty made great improvement this season. For anyone to suggest otherwise, just didn't watch him closely enough. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Oilers came back from 4-1 in the 3rd. You know the thing about that? Somebody freaking predicted that early in the game, the last game, the Lightning Leafs, and they freaking did exactly that. Pissed me off. His positioning was better. I find he is calm, and I like his side to side, the way he tracks the puck. I think he made big improvements in all of those areas.
His reactions got a little quicker too. You know what I mean? Like it looked like he was a little bit quicker to react to the puck.
Could be, yeah. I just like the strides he made.
Absolutely.
Okay, I didn't realize how far. Wow, how many comments there were. All right, Hellebuck played 13 straight games down the stretch and got the Jets into the playoffs. He should get the Vezina. Maybe. Tampa's defensive is not as strong as the loss of McDonough. But they're hurt. I mean, the defense is hurt a little bit, I think, so not at its strongest. And they look like I don't know, they just look like they're tired a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Bob thinks Jaeger should get a good look. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out which guys we look at before the draft. But, we'll see what they get, like what position they get before we start looking at these kids.
Absolutely.
Bergeron will end his career in Montreal? No. As a matter of fact, he's already said that he will not do that. He will end his career as a Boston Bruin. He said that in the offseason, last offseason.
And who said it? I just saw it, and now it's gone. Oh, BL. There it is. I agree with BL. I think this is it. I think this is his last year.
Oh, well, if it's not, he's going to play in Boston. He's not going anywhere else.
We'd have to sign another 1-year deal, but I think we're only going to be working with about $5 million cap.
He addressed questions, I believe, just before the training camps opened, that he was asked, and he said no, he's not. He's not going anywhere.
Staying I wouldn't expect him to not retire.
Retire as a Bruin.
Absolutely, he will.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what he said, he has no interest to go to any other team, which is the same as what Sidney Crosby said, right?
Now, that being said, if he wanted a coaching position, I wouldn't count Montreal out because I think once he's retired, I think he does probably move back to Quebec to be with his family.
Bergeron?
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't know. He spent his whole career in Boston.
Absolutely.
Just at Knuckles. Take a look at Knuckles, right? He didn't spend his whole career here, but the best part of his career, and he says after he left Montreal, he was not the same player, was here in Montreal, and he's moved back here and is living here. Not just because of the radio station anymore, because that's done, and he's still living here, and I don't think he's planning to move anywhere else as far as his main residence. Right. I know his car is still registered with Massachusetts plates, by the way. So it wouldn't shock me if Bergeron stays in Boston.
Wouldn't shock me. Well, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if he does, but I think, with what we know about, what's going on with his dad, or that whole situation, I think he'd probably come back to Montreal anyway.
Oh, that's true for now. Yeah, but it doesn't mean he wouldn't go back.
3-3.
Bruins tied it up. Let's see. I don't see Toronto coming back in the third, but they did. Yeah, me neither, but they did. I was hoping they wouldn't. I see it. Washington Kings Oilers, you get reminded quickly what a great two-way player Phil Deneau is. Great two-way player, shutdown center, great player. And, I just don't understand why people, I guess, didn't do the research when they still blaming Bergevin for not re-signing him when it came out that him and his wife wanted to have a second child, but they weren't doing that because his wife, I think it's his wife, said, we're not having another child in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't staying here. Didn't matter what Bergevin offered. Anyway, players change their minds all the time. They do. But Bob, Deneau did that when he was here. He shut down McDavid completely.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, too, one of the big reasons LA made the push to get him was exactly that. They're in that division. They need a guy that can do that, and that's why they got Deneau. Bergeron has a big ass home in Mont Tremblant near Mario. He's also got the money to have a home near Tremblant, a home in Boston, a home here, and a home there. He's got that kind of money.
Oh yeah. I mean, he'd probably spend his summers up in Quebec. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't shock me if you split time.
Right. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like his ties to Boston won't go away.
No.
Bob is agreeing with me. Deneau refused to sign in Montreal. It wasn't anything to do with Bergevin. Deneau shut down Matthews, Scheifele, and Stone from Vegas. What?
Yeah, the playoff run, yeah.
Oh, that last year. Yeah, the year we made that run. For sure he did. Yeah. That's right. I mean, you got to say, Deneau deserved a lot of credit for the Habs getting
for sure
to the finals.
Absolutely.
A lot of credit for getting them to the finals. Yeah, Slinksy, the NHL's in love with Toronto. What are you going to do? It's that Austin Matthews charm. And on that note, going to call it a night. That was a lot of fun tonight. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Give a thumbs up on the way out. Really appreciate that. And I will, like I said, I'm doing a video on PLD tomorrow. I got a lot of work to do on editing our report card videos. So that's going to be out. There's going to be probably 3 of those. And I've got a few shorts out there based on my some of my poems and stuff. So look for that. And we'll be back Saturday, or at least I will be back Saturday. I don't think Pete will be. Well, Matt probably won't be around Saturday. Neither will Pete. Pete's probably got a couple of weeks where we won't be seeing Pete on the channel. Busy schedule like that. So don't need questions about Pete. And what else? That's it. BL, they go golfing during the season sometimes too. I just meant it in the way you meant it. That's all. All right. I'm out of here. Matt's out of here. We're both out of here. I'll see you Saturday and on the videos coming up in the next couple of days. Thanks for being here. Till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. Enjoy the rest of the night. If you're watching, I don't know if there's any more hockey after this or not. And ciao, everybody. Have a good one.
See you guys.